How's it going, everybody? What is up? First day that I really took a day off, and since I started, and I missed you guys. Missed you guys a lot, and so much happened. I was like, oh, I was itching. Couldn't wait to get back out here with you guys. But it was a good night. Got to celebrate the birthday for the kids, eat some good food, and relax a bit. I guess it's two because we did the birthday, like their party over the weekend. So, I mean, there was that. But last night was just family. It was good. Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome, Blackline crew, and welcome any haters, too. I don't know if any of you guys follow me on X. Today was a fun day on X. Hopefully, Andrew Wilson will get back to me. He did. I mean, like, he accepted the challenge to debate. He did a debate with Zach Costello yesterday. Zach, I would say, is one of the good ones out there, okay? And he's just a really good stand-up guy. And, well, I'll say what I'm going to say with Andrew when I get with Andrew so he can be there. But anyways, he responded, and then I sent him the prompt for the debate, and hopefully he'll get back to me and we can nail down the date and time, and I'll let you guys know. Another thing, we got John Bray coming on the show, and it's Saturday. I hope you guys saw the post on the channel's page. I misspoke. I was doing too many things. No excuses. Sorry. Shame on me. It's Saturday at 6. Okay, not Friday. Initially on the last live, I was like, it's Friday night at 6. Sorry. It's Saturday night at 6 p.m. John Bray will be here with the Blackline crew. All right. The thumbnail is already there. Everyone, please, as you come in, hit the like and the subscribe. It's how you support the channels that you watch. You don't have to donate. You don't have to be a member. You can if you want to. You can give supers. I get to them as we go. I don't save them to the end. And yeah, but the best way to do it is, just hit the like and subscribe. It's free. It takes about as much energy to do that. All right. Well, oops, I did not mean to make that go away. All right, let's see. All right, we're going to look at a couple things tonight. Also, Frank Turek is at UVU doing a live Q&A. I guess we can look and see what he's doing, and I think it's going to be a minute till he gets to the Q&A at the end. He's going to do his whole apologetic speech on, if evil exists, how can there be a God? We all know there's a God. Free will. All right, it's that pesky free will thing. But anyway, all right. Let's see. Yeah, let's get into it. Oh, the other thing. I also, I asked Frank Turek to debate me. We'll see what he says. But at least Andrew responded in good faith, and we'll see that come to fruition. I'll let you guys know when that happens. Yeah. All right. That's right. I knew there was one more thing, and it was like right on the tip there of the old noggin. Multiple subscribers, like people that really tune in all the time, not like members but just subscribers, have told me they're not getting notified. Okay, and then I did a thing on like another work order ticket to YouTube. I got to change some things, I think, in my settings, maybe, but it also says that like a channel can only notify like 3 times max in a 24-hour period, and which doesn't make sense. So, because I don't do like multiple lives in a day, so there's some things I got to figure out. But just make sure that you are subscribed and that you re-click the bell and hit the all on the notifications for all, so you get notified for everything, which is just 1 live a day. And yeah, that's it. I won't bombard you guys with useless. I don't do shorts or anything like that. All right. So just make sure you're subscribed and that you hit the all. All right. Let's see first. We're going to go here, but let me see if Frank has even started yet. Let me find where he's at. All right. All right. We're here. Is there volume? Oh, you guys just see my face. Oh, no, you don't. There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. Y'all feel free to get seated, get settled. Yeah, this is an event We're Ratio Christi, and we're happy to have Dr. Frank Turek presenting on If God, Why Evil. I just wanted to thank everybody who helped us kind of get this group together.
All right, so I'm going to pause this, and that way when it finally gets to the part that we want to see, then I can just hit play and we can hit it bit by bit as we go, and I'll add my 2 cents, because for sure he's going to lie. You know, he's not going to be honest about the facts of the day. He's not going to be honest. This Frank Turek, okay? He's not going to be honest about the weeks and days leading up to the assassination. We know he's lied. The other day, Candace said he hadn't lied when talking about his ability to recall time. If you guys watch Candace, she was saying that, you know, because he's a military man, and I do agree with this statement that people, men and women that were in the military, or I would say even first responders as well, nurses, doctors. So it's not just military people, but for sure, definitely military people. The time like is very important, you know, like on time is late, 15 minutes early is on time, right? And then you got to be, and the joke is like, well, you got to be 15 minutes before that. So like 30 minutes is really, you know, when you should show up to like PT and things like that. But so in talking about Frank Turek and that she could trust him in his retelling of the time of when Erika arrived to the hospital, she was using his time where he said she arrived at like 4, right? And Candace didn't think that, you know, Frank was being like ambiguous, like, oh, around 4-ish, but really it was like 5 or, you know, 6. She thinks that when he says 4, you know, it was pretty close, like maybe 10 minutes on either side, but pretty much 4 o'clock. But she said that, you know, he hadn't lied about anything. And I'm like, have you forgotten? He's lied about a lot of things, right? I mean, does everyone not recall the whole drone thing? You know, he's lied about like who was on the phone with him. Was he even on the phone? Did he see a drone? Was it drone footage when him and Charlie showed up? Oh, no, it wasn't. It was just someone on the roof with the phone. Like, I mean, he's lied about a lot. But I do agree that we could trust military men on their time, men and women. I'm equal opportunist here. All right. Military women can tell time too. All right. My wife's not good at telling time. I love you. I mean, that's it. Come on, you know. Anyway, all right, we'll get to it. Let's see. Thank you for the super. What is this? Chantel Hayes. Thank you, Chantel. That's very generous. Super. Thank you so much. Oh, there was one person, I think it was Cynthia. I need to go back because she put in a super last show before she thought she hit send and then she didn't. And then the show ended and I didn't get to the super, and I asked her to put it back in the chat so she didn't have to pay twice. It was Crystal Mullen. Did you put it back in, Crystal, so that I can answer what that super was? I'm scrolling back through the chat. I don't see that you put it back in. If you want to, then I can get to it. Yeah, I don't see it, Crystal. If someone, if Crystal puts it in or throw it in the bottom, then I can get to it, or else I won't be able to see it. All right, let's just get straight to it. What can I say? The title of the thumbnail, you know, of today's video, and the reason why the thumbnail is what it is because, like, you know, TPUSA and Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff and Erika Kirk and all them, they do have the right to remain silent. They have the right to not self-incriminate. And no doubt their lawyers are telling them like, that's why they still haven't said anything about Fort Huachuca. All right. They haven't made any comments on all of the real issues that Candace or Barron have brought up, or anyone else for that matter. But, you know, they're kind of the big ones. I mean, other people on X have brought up very good contradictions, lies, holes in their narrative and timeline. But their lawyers, their counsel is going to tell them to, dude, unless you have an actual fact and you can back it up, say nothing. And so they have the right to remain silent. However, people that plead the fifth aren't usually innocent. Okay. People that choose to remain silent typically are doing that so they don't self-incriminate. And you can only self-incriminate if you've done something criminal. And so to me, the fact that they've remained silent on the major issues at hand, to me, point to something. I can't say definitively that's guilt, but it's suspicion. And it definitely raises the possibility that their silence on these major things indicates guilt, in my opinion. Or else they would just come out and they would say, no, I wasn't at Fort Huachuca. Here's my alibi. Nope, I wasn't on that flight. Here's where I was. Metadata, timestamp, like just anything. No, they choose to talk about Shabbat Shalom, Ben Shapiro, Charlie's text messages. Oh, he loves Ben. Okay. Elizabeth McCoy's like, oh, she didn't do the purchase in Aloe. That was me. Okay. So they're choosing to comment and answer issues. They're paying attention to all of us, but they don't answer any of the issues that matter. And I think that's important to point out. Okay. Thank you, Mystic, for that sticker. All right. Let's get right into it. So this guy, he was there before. He's a total bonker. Wait till you see what he says. Okay. Where's it? Here it is.
Been better off because of DEI. SOT 24.
You're thinking that DEI is versus excellence. I think DEI is for excellence.
Show me one institution that got better the more it embraced DEI.
One institution that got better that embraced DEI.
Yeah, that got smarter, more competitive, leaner, more productive, and that was better than it was 10 years ago. Are our airports more efficient? Are we landing planes better? Are our airlines better? Is our government better? Is our schools better? Is our universities better? Show me one example. Is our public health authorities better? Show me one institution that's embraced DEI that has become better, more excellent than it was 20 years ago. It doesn't exist. DEI will destroy an institution from within.
It's almost like he's talking specifically about California there. And by the way, I was at that event. That was at UC Riverside. So I remember that.
I hate to be dark about it, but that's why they killed him. I mean, they're just so devastating. It's
freaking disgusting. I can't tell if Blake is actually like looking at something, and that's why his eyes went like, Meh. Or if it's in response to that statement. So DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, they're referencing the left, right? Charlie's talking to a young student, female student at that event. And so it's definitely, they're discussing, in a roundabout way, the crazy left. Okay. And so that's what he's saying when this guy says, I hate to say, but that's why they killed him. Bro, like, first of all, like, who are you? Okay. Second of all, like, to say that is crazy. There's so little evidence that the left had anything to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. At best, they have this narrative that was concocted by Kash Patel and people in the federal government, the FBI, Cox, Governor Cox, people that were there in the initial hours, 33 hours, by the way, go and helped cultivate and create this narrative to be what it is. Everything that they claim to point to Tyler, I think a lot of people forget that a lot of the stuff that they said in the beginning actually didn't turn out to actually be in the court documents. It's not part of evidence. It was like kind of hearsay stuff that they said, like the parents turned him in. Nope. Parents didn't turn him in. Okay. He admitted to guilt. Nope. He didn't admit to anything. Parents saw the picture of him online and identified him. Nope. That didn't happen either. Parents saw the picture of the rifle online, realized that was their family, their fathers. It'd be Tyler's grandfather, but it'd either be the mom or the dad's father, whoever's dad. But the grandfather's rifle, Nope, that didn't happen, because the rifle that we all saw online was a picture that whatever news network posted that. They just pulled that picture offline. That's a modern rifle. That doesn't look like the actual World War I era rifle at all. Not at all. The original, like, one is like wood. It's an original. It's almost like a collector's item. Okay. So there's no way that the parents looked at that and go like, oh, that looks just like no, it doesn't look like it at all. Okay. So they didn't see that picture and then message Tyler and go, where's the gun, honey? I think I just saw a picture of the gun online on the news. No, that didn't happen. Okay. The Discord chat, that can be fabricated. That could have, like, they haven't identified whether or not that's been validated and verified, that it came from Tyler's account, and that it's also tied directly to a device that Tyler was on, and that they can prove that Tyler was in that same location on that device when that portion of the chat that is attributed to him was sent. Didn't happen. Okay, we'll have to wait. They have that. We'll have to wait. We'll see, guys. Let's see. The messages back and forth from Lance Twiggs. Give me a break. Does anyone still actually think that a 22-year-old kid wrote that? And that the other, I don't know how old Lance Twiggs is, probably around the same age, that Lance wrote the other side of all that? Give me a break. Give me a break. So the same person that's smart enough to have pulled everything off flawlessly, okay? So he infilled, actions on, he got on the roof, set up everything, took the shot, executed the shot, a kill shot, okay? And then exfilled without, I mean, the only thing that saw him was that freaking video on top of that building on UVU, but you can't tell who that is. So there was literally no freaking way we would have found out who did this. And and we don't, because it wasn't Tyler, right? There's no way that a kid that smart, that did that well on his SATs and his GPA, his grade point. He's just a smart kid, and he was able to pull all this off, only to be the dumbest person in the world once he got off UVU campus. Okay. So he got away, and he's so smart to do all this, and then he's going to leave the towel and the rifle across the street. Okay. He disassembled it in 25 seconds from the time the shot went off to the time that video starts, which is at 12:23 and 34 seconds. That's not enough time to take apart that rifle. And where is it? It's not in his backpack. It's not in his hand. He's got like a towel or a sweater. Give me a break. Okay, so my point is, and then he's at freaking Dairy Queen, and he's like on the Dairy Queen camera, and he's driving around campus. Okay, how does anyone with a real brain not look at this and go this just doesn't make. And then he drives down to his grandparents' house, and then goes to another restaurant and uses his debit card, gets caught on more CCTV cameras that we haven't seen yet, but I'm sure, they're going to let us know inside the trial. The point is this: none of the evidence actually proves Tyler did anything. His DNA would be on the rifle. It would have been on the rifle from the very first time he ever touched that rifle, when his grandfather showed it to him. Okay. And then all the times him and his dad and his grandfather ever used that rifle, his fingerprints and his DNA would be all over it. Okay. Lance Twiggs, if that rifle was in the apartment, Lance Twiggs has access to it. Okay. And then remember, all of the neighbors in that area said that weird military-aged FBI-looking agents were frequenting their Lance Twiggs and Tyler's condo apartment in the weeks leading up to the assassination. Cars that weren't normally there. There was a lot of activity in their apartment in the weeks leading up to it. Abnormal, so much so that they noticed an uptick in these cars and these individuals coming and going. Okay. whoever those people are, had access to that condo, had access to a towel that's going to have his DNA on it. But it also had 4 other people's DNA on it. And same with the rifle. Okay, so if they're saying that his DNA and prints are proof that he took the shot, there's no way they can make that claim. But that means they need to go out and arrest 4 other people and do the same thing. Okay, but his DNA and prints being on the rifle just prove exactly what it is. It's a family rifle. Barron talked about that the other night. His prints and DNA are all over his weapons. Okay. It just so happens that, in my opinion, someone got access to the rifle. Because remember, okay, the local police department swept that area, found nothing. Okay. The bomb dogs come, sweep the area. They find nothing. Bomb dogs. Bomb dogs. Okay. The rifle was just used hours earlier, freshly shot. The dogs would have smelt it from inside the car. They would have got out the car and just been like, it's right there. Without even looking, they just would have been like, it's right there. They didn't. They walked the dogs, the whole area, found nothing. Cleared. Nothing. Goose eggs. Oh, okay. Then the FBI shows up. Okay. And the FBI sweeps the area. In my opinion, that's when they dropped it. Okay. So multiple FBI people are there. Someone's distracting those 2 local police officers that between the 2 of them had less than a year put together. Someone's distracting them. One of the FBI agents or 2 are talking to them about whatever, while the other one walks over and places the rifle down, in my opinion, because supposedly, this is the story, the FBI did the sweep, came back and said nothing's there. But then for some reason, because the FBI is a superior organization than a local law enforcement. And if the FBI knows that the police department and the bomb dogs swept and they didn't find it, FBI swept, they didn't find it. Oh yeah. The next logical thing is to go to these 2 rookie cops and go like, hey guys, I know we've done a really thorough job of sweeping this area. I just got this weird feeling. You might want to go look over there. And then these 2 cops, between the 2 of them, have less than a year on the force, walk over and find the rifle. Give me a break. Get out of here with that. I don't know how that's even accepted as evidence. That's nuts. That's nuts. Okay. Remember, there was a screwdriver, part of evidence with his DNA on it. Give me a break. That's not even in the documents. That got dropped. That's just one of those things that was said in the beginning, much like, oh, the parents saw him online and they identified him from that picture of that still photo, which is a video. It's a video of the kid that has the eagle, the long black sleeve shirt, the glasses, the hat, the tight pants. They're so tight, you can see his phone in his pocket, but you can't see the rifle. That photo is supposedly Tyler Robinson on the way to carry out the assassination. So the rifle would be with him there. Nowhere. Where is it? Oh, well, it's in his backpack there. No, it's not going to fit in his backpack. He bends both of his legs, not in his pants. How's he going to put it together? Doesn't have any tools. It's an old rifle. You can't put it together with a screwdriver. Give me a break. Okay. They don't answer these questions. Okay. They want us to piece it together. Yeah. All right. Sorry. This guy, whoa, dude, I got so far off tangent. Holy smokes, guys. My bad. We were talking about this guy saying, yeah, this is why they killed him. The crazy left. Okay. Crazy left didn't kill anyone.
Cannot come back from that argument, and that it just gives you chills. It strikes fear of God into people on the left because they can't defend that argument. Their defense of that argument would be that DEI is the end in and of itself, that having better representation.
Oh yeah, that was it. It was just him making that crazy statement about Charlie Kirk and the left killing him. That's all I wanted to share there. Let's see where they're at now here. Let me make sure I share this. All right, let's see if they've made it a little bit further along.
Turning Point USA on campus, they helped us. Christian Club on campus. Is Jameson here? If Jameson
decided that he was going to say this.
Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, how many people were here
I'm turning it up.
on September 10th and saw the murder? Took work off to come see Charlie. I know I don't have to say this, and it almost makes no sense for me to say this, but I feel like I should say this. It's not your fault. You know, as the evidence stands right now, one man decided that he was going to do evil on this campus.
Okay, sorry, I'm not trying to yell at you. I have to turn it up on my soundboard so that you guys can hear it because they don't have it turned up very well. I have it turned up on my YouTube and there, so I'll have to turn it down. I didn't mean to yell at you guys. How insanely ridiculous is him saying it's not your fault? Okay, I know there is a thing as survivor's guilt. Not in like a situation like this. Like I don't think any bystander in the crowd thought that Charlie being assassinated was their fault. I don't know. That seems like an emotional, psychological manipulation tactic that he's trying to do, like right away, that he opened up with that. Let's see where he goes with it. But that's just nuts. I don't know who told him to say that. If that was just Frank being Frank, he's freaking Frank. So, I mean, I guess most of the stuff he says doesn't make sense.
And of course, you never thought it would happen in this state. Never thought it would happen in this campus. But it did. The world's a totally different place now. I was always worried that somebody was going to take a shot at Charlie because Satan attacks effective people and effective organizations. And Charlie and I had been working together for about 5 years. I'm not an employee of TPUSA, but I think it's one of the finest organizations I've ever been a part of, and even from a distance. And Charlie, about early 2020, emailed our organization and said, I've been watching Frank's videos from the college campus, and he's helped me a lot.
Okay, at this point, anytime they make a claim about something Charlie did, if they want to be believed, I'm going to need to see receipts. I just am. I'm not saying Charlie didn't email him. I mean, he is a well-known apologetics individual within the Christian sphere. I watched him back in the day when I was in, Bible college. But I mean, I'm just going to need to see those emails, man. I'm just going to need to see them. He read one from his show one time, but we didn't get to see it. He just read it. These are Charlie's words. Yeah. Sounds a lot like what BB did, like the letter, here's the letter. You don't get to see it. I'm just going to read it to you and tell you what it says. Okay. I'm just going to need to see the letter, BB. I am. I think we've made it to that point where we don't trust any of you. So if you want us to take you seriously, you just need to show us the emails, dude.
I'd like to meet him. So I called him up and we became fast friends, and he wanted me to mentor him in what is known as Christian apologetics, evidence for the faith. Now, it can be really hard to mentor somebody smarter than you, but not in Charlie's case, because the only thing that exceeded his intellect was his humility. And it wasn't just me he had as mentors. He was learning from everybody.
You guys, this is literally a script, okay? I don't know if any of you guys have been with me from the beginning. I've gone back and we've watched pretty much everything that all of these individuals did on their shows and their appearances in the weeks and the days after the assassination. Verbatim, what he just said, he has said a dozen times. Verbatim. It's literally something he has written down. It's like a script. The only thing that exceeded his intellect was his humility. It's It could be very hard to mentor someone smarter than you. Literally, it's a script.
He was learning from people even younger than him who knew things that he didn't know, because he was humble and he knew that he could learn from anybody. So this past summer, I went to Phoenix on 4 different occasions to spend time with Charlie. And we would sit and talk about all sorts of different issues that we get on a college campus, questions we get on a college campus. How could we answer them better? And there were other people involved like Mikey McCoy and Danny Phillip and Blake Neff. He was learning from everybody. But after hours, sometimes Charlie would say, hey, let's go on a walk. And so we would walk through his neighborhood after dinner, after he put Gigi and Mac down, and we would talk about whatever was on his heart. And on Monday, September 8th, 2 nights before this, we had about a 90-minute walk with a 300-pound armed bodyguard behind us. And there were 3 issues.
We don't know if that's true, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, based on Candace Owens, not only that, but Charlie's own retelling of that evening. He did a taping. We played it here. M found it on, and it was on X. Candace ended up covering it months, like a couple of weeks or maybe a month after we had covered it, where he talks about the Bears game that he watched that night, the night before the 9th. And the timeline is off. There's not enough time for him to have done that. Being a diehard Chicago sports teams fan, he's not going to watch something on replay. He's watching it live. Come on, give me a break. Okay. And even him yelling at the screen and all the things, how he retold it on his show the next day. Okay. So Frank is here telling us this is what happened. Again, verbatim, he said this story. It's to cover for something. We don't know where Erika is. There's a lot in those 2 days, like before the day of and a couple days. There's so many questions that they haven't answered and shown proof for, that he's just making this claim. And I don't even think he was there, guys, at all. There's a reason for the dishonesty.
Issues that we talked about that was on his heart. Number 1 was government, and particularly the encroachment of Islam on our freedoms. The second was the evidence for God and the resurrection.
I got it. I figured it out. This is my opinion, but literally, in my opinion, this walk happened so Frank could say these were the things that were most important to Charlie before he died. These were the most important things that he was focused on the night before he died. So these would be the things that we should be focusing on now, because this is what Charlie was focusing on. And guess what he's not going to say? Frank isn't going to say Philly was on there. He's not going to say anything about opposing a regime change war in Iran. He's not going to say that either. He's going to say everything other than the real things that Charlie was focused on and dealing with at the end of his life. In my opinion, that's one of the main reasons why he's saying that this walk happened, is so that he can say these were the main things Charlie was focused on at the end of his life. These are the things we should be focused on now. And none of them have to do with what he actually was focused on.
What we might call the church. And the third was the family. And after Charlie died, I thought to myself, why was he so concerned about these 3 issues? Do you know those are the same 3 institutions that God established? He established government, he established the family, and he established the church. And that's what Charlie wanted to talk about. And so he said, this tour, he was preparing all summer for it, and he said, why don't you just come with me to the first event? You're in Phoenix, just come with me. You can be there for the first event, and then we can debrief it and all that. And on the way here, we were actually still preparing. We knew there are so many Mormon friends here. We're going to get questions on LDS. We were talking about that on the way in. First question was asked by Henry, who's here. Henry, where are you? Here's Henry. He asked the first question. It was about LDS. On the way in, he thought he would get a question on trans violence. The last text I sent Charlie Kirk.
You guys notice they're indoors, by the way? Yeah, Frank, all of his events are indoors. Everyone has to go through scanners. He's got massive security. All the things Charlie didn't get, right? And he supposedly saw Charlie as a son. Charlie was like a son to him. Oh, Charlie was worried. Frank said he was worried that something would happen to Charlie. You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything, Frank. Oh, I don't like all the roofs, he says. When he says, we were looking at drone footage as we came in. I don't like all the roofs. There's too many roofs. Okay. There's too many people. Okay. Okay. Oh, he wanted to know about the LDS arguments. No, dude. No, Charlie's smart enough. Okay. He handled that. Like, he knew that. That had nothing to do with you, Frank. Okay, I have friends in the LDS church, so I've done a lot of my own research on the arguments for, against, and all that, the weak points and things like that. Same with Jehovah's Witnesses as well. Charlie would have known that. Once you know the arguments for and how to support our claims as Christians, you don't have to keep rereading them. Okay, you don't need to brush up. He wanted to know, like the night before, when that Zoom chat was going around, and then that emergency phone call, that group Zoom call with, Rabbi Wolicki and, Josh Hammer. No, the real issues that he knew that he was going to get faced with had to do with Philly. Okay. Give me a break. All right. We're going to keep going, but I did also want to get to this. I actually think that the FBI tried to pass the photo off as the real gun, but when everyone noticed the scope, they switched it to the stock photo lie. I mean, that's definitely possible. I know that the official story is that it's the news's fault, that the news did that. So I don't know if we could find out a way to prove who actually put that out there as the rifle, then we might be able to know. However, if you do recall, you guys, in the charging documents and the indictment, in those text messages between him and Lance Twiggs, supposedly he goes, I guess the scope really works. Grandpappy's scope, this $2,000, $3,000 scope is good enough. Okay, so supposedly this World War I era rifle had a modern scope on it. Okay, I'd like to see that. You would have had to do some work to get a modern scope on a World War I era rifle that didn't have scopes like that around at the time. So yeah, there's that. Maybe that's why they tried to find a picture of a rifle with the scope. It just so happens that that rifle they picked is not the right rifle, and the scope was on backwards. So okay. But I mean, Kash Patel is not a law enforcement individual. Congrats on 8,000 going max. We made it to 8,000. When? I've been chasing 8 for weeks because YouTube is totally screwing with us, you guys. I watch the subscriber count go up, and then like a couple hours goes by, I go back, and it's like they erase it. It's like, do people really subscribe? And then like a little bit later, they just unsubscribe. I never saw behavior like that in the since I had started this channel, and it's just really bizarre that started just all of a sudden. It's just super weird. But if we made it to 8, awesome. That's not kudos to me. That's kudos to everyone here for coming consistently and hitting the like and the subscribe. I appreciate it. Crystal, you're back. There you are. All right. Okay. Frank is going to be at UVU the 26th, and he's invited. Yeah, we're watching it. And people to come in a shame spot where Charlie was. Yep. Why is he so secure, so unsettling? Okay. That was your tech. That was your super from last week. I thought it had to do with Fort Huachuca. But yes, if you just pop back in, that is what we're watching. So I'm glad you're back. My goodness.
Was data on trans violence. I texted it to him from the back seat. He was in the front seat. Charlie, take a look at this. Second question was about trans violence. Hunter asked that question. I met Hunter yesterday here. Is Hunter here? I don't know if he's here. Hunter, where are you? There he is, right there.
Why the frick? What the frick, you guys? And these, I think these are, so we got some cops and we got some security and then just some kids. But okay, Henry Dell did nothing wrong. Okay. Hunter Kozak for sure has some real explaining to do. And he has never agreed to an honest interview, except for that stupid 60 Minutes interview with that Jeb Jacoby kid, who, why were him and Hunter interviewed together? And Jeb was the one doing that like fake acting with Phil Lyman in just the minutes after the assassination. Hunter should not be allowed there. Why did Barry Weiss, why did Erika Kirk agree to receive a question in that town hall meeting from the freaking scumbag that asked that literally made Charlie's life a living hell? The Un-F America tour and Hunter Kozak were people that followed TPUSA around, specifically Charlie, to his events and would try to just cause issues. Okay. And Destiny, dude, these people are not good people. Okay. And why has Hunter never been investigated thoroughly to find out, like, okay, Henry Dell said that when they were questioning and figuring out the lineup, so they pre-questioned the people that got approved to ask questions. Henry Dell, in an interview, said that those questions that Hunter Kozak ended up asking were not the questions he told to the person screening them before they were approved. Henry Dell said that. Hunter Kozak asked questions when he got to the mic that weren't approved by the TPUSA staff ahead of time. That question he had saved, and he sprung it. Okay. And it just so happens was the second question. It just so happens was right when the bang rang out. And it just so happens that it fits so that they can say the crazy left and, oh, it's all connected. The crazy left did it. Why is he there? Why is TPUSA okay with him? Why is he there? Why is Frank going like, oh, Frank, Hunter's right there? We got another super. Please reread Trump's announcement of the demise of CK on September 10th. Cold and unemotional, no rage, very, very sus. That's how far up it goes. He's no longer here. 100% Zamet, 1969. Thank you for that super. Very generous. Yeah, Charlie's not alive. We're going to look at something in a little bit, Jesse. And there's a handful of people. They're all just not good people saying that Charlie Kirk is still alive. He's lying to all of us. He's running this psyop from somewhere. He's the one telling everyone their marching orders and what to say, what to do. No. And I've already destroyed that so many times. Some of the things he uses as evidence are just twisted lies. He was supposed to debate Blake, and that never happened. Whatever came of that? Hey, Jesse, reach out to me. I've reached out to you many times. You want to debate? Let's go. But an honest person would debate with the intention that if they were proven wrong, then they would change their view. But you said in a cop-out to Blake that the debate is pointless because you said you're 100% positive that you're right and no one could change your mind. So you're not in pursuit of truth. You're not. You're not in pursuit of justice for Charlie. You're in pursuit of your stupid little narrative, which is ridiculous, disgusting, and evil.
Hunter was here to ask a question. And that's when the shot rang out. And I was always worried somebody was going to take a shot at Charlie. So I said to myself, if anyone ever does that, just do whatever you can. I don't know what.
Do whatever you can. Yeah, drop on the ground, crawl like a little boy, and then do nothing. And then jump in the back of the car and do nothing. And then do nothing. But then when you get to retell the event, say that you did everything. Say that you were the one in the car that told all of these, combat medic certified paramilitary prior law enforcement guys. You're the one that told them to look for a pulse. You're the one that said, hey guys, we need to do CPR. You're the one that told them what to do. These guys just froze up in the car, but Frank saved the day.
What that is, but just try and help them. I was in the Navy, which stands for Never Again Volunteer Yourself. And so when the shot rang out, I actually had my phone out because I was signaling the shooter, as you know.
This is such a dishonest individual. No one said that the phone was him signaling the shooter. He knows that, okay? And he knows how to properly debate and argue. That's not an accident. He did that on purpose. He misrepresented what the argument was. The accusation and the argument against him was that he went like this. He didn't even itch his face, you guys. He literally pinched it like this. And then he went like this to his hat. That's when, so we have Hunter Kozak gets up to the mic. Hunter Kozak asks the first question. Then right before, so Charlie comes back and goes back. Right before he asks the question that seems to be part of the signaling process, he looks over at Frank and Brian Harple's direction. You can see it in the video. Hunter Kozak turns, looks in their direction, and he messes with his glasses, okay? We see Frank go here. Then we see Dan Flood take a step forward, shake his arm, and hit his bicep. In that order. And then the bang. He was on the phone with someone supposedly FaceTiming, but everyone that looks at the video, he was on FaceTime before when he's on the other side of the tent in the beginning when Charlie's throwing out the hats. Okay. You can see him on the phone. You can actually see someone on the phone. You can see that he was on FaceTime. We can see his phone when he's on the other side. He's holding it up. No one's on the screen. Okay. So the argument that you wouldn't be able to see the picture, not true. You can see it on the other side. There's photo and there's video of it. You can see it's either his daughter and son-in-law because that's who's supposedly on the phone the whole time. But then when they get to the other side, you don't see anyone. It's a black screen.
I had my phone out because I'd FaceTime my wife because the spectacle, as you know, those you were there that day, the energy, the festiveness.
Wait, what the heck?
For a Q&A.
Wait, what the heck?
What? And so I had my wife on, I was sharing with her, and then I said, hey, let me call Spencer and Caroline, my son and daughter-in-law.
Okay, there we go. That's weird. I don't know that he ever said he was on the phone with his wife before. All the previous stories was that he was on the phone with his daughter and son-in-law. And so I was like, what the heck? That's new. And then he added that in right now.
Charlie fans. So I'm just standing there like this.
No, you weren't.
And then the shot rings.
That's not at all.
I see Charlie go down.
Bro, what a freaking liar. I hope that you guys can stay with me tonight, okay? Because this is going to be important. Don't go watch this live. Watch it here. I'm going to point out what he's lying about, okay? He did not hold his phone like this, facing out. He held it like this with the screen facing him, and he's holding with the camera facing that way, and it's not horizontal. It's up like this, and he's holding it like this. Not even paying attention to anything on the camera. And it's not even facing Charlie. It's like facing the crowd. He's freaking lying right now. That may seem like subtle little like ridiculous arguments, but it's not. That matters. Everything about that day matters so much. You need to be precise about everything.
And I don't remember saying this, but my daughter-in-law's going, the first thing you said was, no, 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 no. And then I stepped toward him and it's, those you were here, you remember that? You went down, didn't you? You went, is there more shots coming? But his security team was already there. By the way, his security team did not drop the ball, ladies and gentlemen. His security team only had jurisdiction around him. They did not have jurisdiction on the roofs.
What a scumbag. Okay. Look, guys, the type of security team that Charlie Kirk had, prior military, some special forces, some like did whole careers in law enforcement, like Brian Harple. He never did military, but Rick Cutler was military, but Brian Harple was law enforcement. The team themselves, he's doing a weird play on words. Like he's somewhat being truthful, but he's being very deceptive to the average civilian individual. The team, the security team, is supposed to connect with UVU police campus, local police units, and members of law enforcement that would be there. And their job is to develop a security plan from top to bottom, from in the whole time they're there and then out. And then you're supposed to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. In case of this, we do that. In case of this, we do that. If we see this, then we do that. Okay. Every box should be checked. Every possible scenario should have been accounted for. It's a massive outdoor event. There's lots and lots of roofs. Dan Flood was Charlie Kirk's personal individual security team member, Dan Flood, and he's not even on TPUSA's website anymore, which is weird. Neither is Mikey. I almost did an X post the other day, like, where's Mikey? No one's seen Mikey in a long time. Like, he's not doing any speaking engagements. He's not on TPUSA's site. Anyways, back to the point. Dan Flood was supposed to be the one really that is Charlie Kirk's personal security. Okay, he worked directly for Charlie. And then the Brian Harple's team was the team that is, and they had 5 to 8 new members just for that event. But between the two of them, Brian Harple and Dan Flood, they were communicating with the Chief Long, UVU police, local police. And if they should have asked to put people up on the roofs or asked the police to do it. That actually did kind of happen, but it only happened with one roof. And it happened with a roof that didn't really matter, okay? It happened with the roof of up and behind Charlie. And supposedly that didn't even get nailed down until the morning of, when supposedly they saw some kind of footage that there's these like large rocks that kids up there could grab and throw down on Charlie. Look, and Chief Long actually did exactly what he said he was going to do. He cordoned it off. They had caution tape. It was closed off, and they designated it a temporary no trespass criminal trespass zone. So no one was allowed up there. He also put one of the policemen was up there and allowed one security guard up there. One of the Brian Harple's security team members was up there as well. Okay, so he gave them what they asked for. Their job would have been to ask the UVU police, can you have people up on these roofs that have access, or can you make sure they are locked down so that kids or anyone out there in the public can't just access the roof? We either need them to have a member up there, like of local law enforcement, UVU police, or one of our guys up there, or we need to pre-sweep it, lock it down, and not allow anyone to access it. The UVU police and local police would have done that, hands down, but they didn't do that. So Brian Harple's team did drop the ball. They dropped the ball big, okay? And not only that, not having a drone, well, the media team was approved a drone. They were allowed to fly a drone. That was admitted in the legal cease and desist letter with Wolves and Finance, okay? And then Frank changed his story. Oh, I thought it was a drone. Oh, no. And then he goes, well, it could have been. So he doesn't actually change his story. Frank goes like, it could have been. I didn't realize that there was people up on the roof, and it could have been someone on the roof. He's not even saying that it was. No, you know the difference between someone holding a camera, not moving, okay? And it was live streaming to him. So like, what? You don't know that you accepted a FaceTime call from someone that's live streaming a video to you and they're just holding it, or you looking at drone footage and a drone is flying and moving around. He knew exactly what he said, but he lied about that. Brian Harple should have said to the media team, or he could have done what freaking Gary Paramount did. Gary went there after to do his 3D scan of the campus, went on campus, took off the drone, and the local UVU staff or police said, you can't do that here. What did Gary do? They walked off campus and they took off campus and then just flew. Oh, you don't own the space above your campus. Okay. And so there was ways around it. Brian Harple's team, they just let these things go undone. Okay. That is dropping the ball 100%. They could have just walked off campus, taken the drone up, and then flown over and then just flown over the event the whole time. Or they could have asked the media people when Frank Turek was there and said, oh, look, I'm looking at drone footage. Brian Harple and Dan Flood are in the car. If Charlie's in the car, Dan Flood's in the car. If Dan Flood's in the car, he knows that they got denied drone footage, and then he hears Frank Turek go, oh, I'm looking at drone footage. Me and Charlie were looking at drone footage as we drove up to the event, and I said, wow, there's a lot of people, Charlie. I don't like it. There's a lot of roofs. Dan Flood, being the guy that he is, would have been like, where are you getting that drone footage, Frank? That's our drone footage? That's TPUSA? Bro, we need to use that. Screw media. Media could go fly a kite. You know what's more important than media? Freaking Charlie's life. Okay, we're going to commandeer that drone for this event. And then if we get some good footage, you guys can cut and paste it in post later. But we're going to use that for security. There's so many things. And they should have just they had 5 to 8 new people. They could have just put them on the freaking roof. If Tyler just walked up there, why couldn't they just said, just go walk up there, dude? If the UVU police come over to you and be like, what are you doing on the roof? You just be like, well, I'm just doing my job, man. What are they going to do? Arrest you? They didn't arrest whoever was on the roof that day. He's lying. Frank's lying. Okay. Brian Harple's team dropped the ball in freaking a million different ways.
I was told, and I saw a text, that the police, whether it's the university police or the Utah police, said, we got the roofs.
No, you freaking liar. You guys, I can pull up the text and show you. Dan Flood sent the text. Brian Harple in the Sean Ryan interview initially tried to pass it off as his text. And then it came out that it wasn't him. It was Dan Flood. And then it came out on the Gary Melton, and Brian Harple corrected the record and goes like, actually, so Dan Flood sent the text. It wasn't the roofs, plural. It was the roof behind me. And it was about a particular threat, large rocks. That was it. And Chief Long got back right away and said, you got it. And guess what Chief Long did? Made it a designated temporary no trespass zone, coordinated off, and then put a police up there and allowed one of the security team members up there. He did exactly what they asked. All they had to do was ask to put someone up on each roof or to block it and check it out first and then lock it down and not let anyone else up there, and the local police would have done it. Frank Turek is I've been getting to, so I was wondering the other day, like at how many of these people actually had foreknowledge and were part of the planning and actually knowing that he was going to be executed, or are they unwilling like participants after the fact? I don't know how many of these individuals that we all talk about every day were part of the actual planning, preparation, execution, and the actual knowing cover up of everything, or some of these people on the peripheral of TPUSA and you know, these group of individuals are like after the factors, you know. I don't know where Frank fills in on that, but he is lying right now for sure.
They didn't have the roofs. I want to know why not.
Because they didn't ask for it.
Don't you? I don't know if we'll ever know.
We actually do know, and he knows that we know. He knows about the text. He knows that Brian Harple and Dan, no one asked for any of the other roofs to be covered. And the local law enforcement and the UVU police aren't going to do something just willy-nilly, just because, okay? That would have been Brian Harple's job. and Dan Flood together, telling them, communicating to them what they need. And Chief Long and his department would have done it.
Anyway, so I'm on the, looking at the tent right over here. I'm on the other side over there. And his security team's on him. And they take him on this side of the tent.
Okay, hold on. So we got Dan Flood right here. All right, we got Frank Turek right here. We got Terrell Farnsworth right here. We got Philip right here. This guy, I don't know his name, but he's not people are skeptical of this guy right here. And then obviously we have Charlie.
And so I run around that other side of that pillar there.
Bro, look at all the security they have there. Holy smokes. He's got more security there for this one indoor event than Charlie had.
And there's somebody had video of this. They're putting Charlie in the back seat. I can't get on either side, so I pop the hatch open and I get in the back of this SUV, the SUV we came in on. And Charlie's laid out right in front of me. Rick is here. Brian's here. Dan right there, you see in the glasses, he's up front with the GPS. Justin's driving. Go, 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 go. Couldn't stop the bleeding.
Okay. You guys, that's insane. Okay. I'll just tell you this. It's a neck wound, even if it hits the carotid. Only one Instaclot packet was on the ground. Who knows if there was more used, but like they would supposedly 36 feet of Instaclot supposedly was shoved in Charlie's neck. Okay. They could have done a really good job of at least slowing the bleeding down, that he wouldn't have bled out. You know, I've seen a lot worse. Okay. People have survived way worse. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know exactly what was. We'll have to see when the full autopsy comes out, what was, actually what was the damage in there. But him making it sound like there was just no possibility whatsoever of survival. He said it multiple times before, like, Charlie had doll eyes. He was looking right through me. He was looking straight into heaven. Absent in the body is present with Christ. He was looking through me into eternity. He has said all these things. Even if the doctor said, even if Charlie was shot in the ER, in the OR, we couldn't have saved him. He was dead instantly. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. And notice what he didn't say here. He hasn't said anything about the doors being shut or the doors being open, because that was a hole in their story initially. All right, let's see. Okay, I read that one. Yep. Let's see this one. I read, please. Yep. And I will, Zamet, I will go back and read his announcement. But yeah, I don't think Trump and JD actually cared and loved Charlie at all. Charlie was a means to their ultimate goal, which was becoming elected, having power, money, control. Yeah, I don't think they cared about Charlie. All right. No, my super chat was about Fort Huachuca. Erika met with the Congressman Mark because Charlie would not set up a headquarters in a town that has debauchery. I agree with that. And yeah, so now he's gone. And the first one of the new headquarters that Turning Point Action opens up is in Las Vegas. Yeah. And this is just another reason why Erika Kirk and TPUSA are extremely suspicious to us, because they're doing all these things not even a year after, within the 6 months. Now we're just past the 6 months mark, but doing all these things that Charlie never did, never said, was completely going in the opposite direction. And then he dies as if that he was taken out so that they could do this. Because if he was here, they wouldn't do this. But now he's out of the way. He was an obstacle. He was a roadblock. He was a speed bump to them. But now he's gone. And now they're free to do and say whatever the frick they want. Thank you for the super crystal. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you, Jim Bear. All right, let's get back to it. I had other things we're going to do, but we're not. We're just going to do this, and then we're going to get to the questions at the end.
His eyes weren't looking at me.
Here it is.
They were looking right past me into eternity.
Whoa, what do you know? I called
He
it.
was already gone.
Oh,
But of course, weren't sure of that. So we're doing whatever we can. His team was calm. My special skill that day was yelling.
that's not what you said
Did plenty
initially.
of that.
Let's see if he says it. He said in the initial appearances he did that he's the one that told Rick Cutler and Dan Flood in the back seat, because he climbed in the back end, he's in the bucket seat in the back, and then it's captain chairs, and you have Dan Flood is on the right, and then Rick Cutler's behind the driver. There's captain chairs, and Charlie's laid out across. Charlie's head is in Rick Cutler's lap. Charlie's feet are with Brian Harple, and supposedly the door is open because Charlie's foot is stuck and they can't close it, even though we see from Blake Bednard's videos that all doors get shut before they drive off, okay? But also supposedly Brian Harple's at the feet, but he's the one actually putting the Instaclot in, stopping the bleeding, and rendering aid from the feet, hanging out the door. Remember, because Brian Harple's also his butt, and he's hanging out the door going 100 miles an hour. But he can reach 6 feet 5 inches from Charlie's feet all the way to his neck.
Toward the end, I tried CPR on him
Oh,
as we were getting to the hospital.
that's new. That's new. He didn't say he did CPR before, you guys. So here's the thing to pay attention to. All of these people at this event, the majority are there for the first time. Some might have been at and seen. Most people don't. That's why they're laughing at some of these ridiculous jokes. They're hearing them for the first time. Okay. He's betting that most people haven't seen, watched, and paid attention to every piece of video and speaking engagement and appearance that he's done. Previously, he said that he told Rick Cutler and Dan Flood, guys, do CPR. Now he's saying he did CPR. I don't know how. They're going 100. He's in the back seat. Dan Flood's at the feet, Brian Harple's at the feet, but he's doing, he's rendering aid to the neck in the wound, and Rick Cutler's there. And then we got freaking Frank Turek now. He's doing CPR. Give me a break. What do we got? Hi, Glenn. Matt, can you go back and explain how this Frank Turek UVU event was marketed as? Not sure everyone in chat are clear on what this speech is supposed to be. Okay. Yes. So this was marketed. It just came out like a week ago. It's just going to be all about that day. Okay. He went back to UVU. Frank Turek went back to UVU. He's going to recap that day and everything. He's going to tell his official narrative and get it implanted into people's heads first. And then he's going to open it up to questions at the end. That's all it is. And it was marketed as, if God exists, how could he let someone like Charlie die?
Wasn't responding. Got him into the hospital. And it seems like we went into an empty emergency room. There was nobody in there. Don't you know we're coming? Where are you? Within 2 minutes, they were on him. Rick and I were praying out loud the whole time. The nurses were phenomenal there. As the doctors attended to him, they took us to other rooms and cleaned us up. And they took Charlie into the OR. They said, we have a pulse. Rick and I are going, all right, maybe. Mikey gets there, shaking. He's talking to JD Vance on the phone. We're all standing in the hall. Doctor comes out. I can't get this voice out of my head. He's dead. No, I'm sorry. No, we tried everything with the tenderness of a brick. He's dead. I need to talk to Erika. Mikey's on the phone going,
This is insane, you guys. This is new. That was not at any previous retelling of that days of events before in Frank's story. This is brand new. He has never said this before. This is a whole new part of the story, which is complete BS. If this were a true thing, that would have been one of the first, that would have been from the beginning, and it would have stayed the whole time. The thing is, an event like this gets crystallized. That means it doesn't change. Okay. Crystals don't change. Once they're hardened and formed, that's their form. An event like this is crystallized in your memory. It's seared into your memory. It's traumatic. It's so vivid. That's what PTSD is like. You relive it. You can feel it. You can smell it. You can hear it. You can see it. It's like it's still there. Trust me, I know from experience. They're going to try Frank. I'm not going to say they, because right now it's Frank, but I mean, okay, he's on behalf of, to throw everyone else under the bus except for him and everyone that has been under the microscope this whole time. Erika Kirk, Mikey McCoy, himself, Rob McCoy, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, Brian Harpel, Dan Flood, Rick Cutler, all of them. He's not going to, all of them did nothing wrong, but Chief Long did something wrong. The local police did something wrong. Now this surgeon did something wrong. This has never been said before, but now he's saying the surgeon came out and with the softness or the tenderness of a brick. He's lying. He never said this before.
somehow Mikey pulled himself together, called who needed to be called, asked the doctors all the hard questions, got a plane to get Erika.
Well, that's not true. Justin Strife got the planes for Erika and everyone. Mikey didn't do that. We know that from the Candace Owens sit down with Erika and Justin Strife. Justin Strife is the one that got all the planes together. Huh. And also the stories have changed about like who did Mikey call and when. Okay. Oh, supposedly it was Erika. No, it actually was his wife. Then he did a three-way. And why is he why did he get to the hospital so late? If he was there? No, he did linger around at UVU 15 something minutes after he was still at the event. And then he shows up. Well, supposedly he called JD within the first 10, 15 minutes of the event. Now he's calling JD again here at the hospital. The miraculous Mikey McCoy. They took him out. We don't know where he is, you guys. I almost put like a missing, like a milk carton photo on X today, trying to find Mikey.
Stacy Sheridan, friend of Erika, was with her.
Yeah.
Catherine LaCastro, another amazing TPUSA employee, was with her. We're all standing around going, I can't believe this. I went up to Dan there, hugged him. I said, this is not your fault. Wasn't.
How could Frank say that immediately after? He would have no freaking clue whose fault it is. We don't know who did it. We don't know how they did it. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what the mechanism of death was. Frank doesn't know what the planning, preparation of the security team was, what they did or didn't do. He has no foundation to make that statement to Dan Flood. But now he's going to say that here in front of all these people. So all of us and all of them can, you know, just put that in and, oh, yeah, it wasn't Dan's fault. Who else's fault would it be, dude? Whoever did it, it's their fault. And the people's whose job it was to keep him alive, that's whose fault it is.
It wasn't his fault. He had to trust other people. And they said they had it.
So he's saying that Dan Flood had to trust other people, meaning Chief Long, UVU police, and because they said they had it, that was just good enough. Okay. First of all, that's a lie. Chief Long said he got the roof behind Charlie because that was the only roof Dan Flood asked to be covered. He did not ask any other roofs to be covered, just the roof behind Charlie. And Chief Long gave it to him.
When Erika shows up, all she has is the clothes on her back.
Oh, yeah. So she can do the aloe purchase.
And now there are conspiracy theorists putting out nonsense like Erika went on a shopping spree.
Well, I mean, she did.
Nobody had clothes. I didn't have clothes. I had to put scrubs on. We threw our clothes away.
Wait, what? Well, how are their clothes not possible evidence? I mean, until it gets ruled out that they had nothing to do with it, how are their clothes with DNA, possible other forensic evidence, since they carried Charlie to the car, that anything could have been, transferred off of his clothing onto their clothing, right? Because if it wasn't a bullet, if it was something else, there could be trace materials of an explosive or pieces of the road mic. They just threw it away. That sounds like destruction of evidence. Possible evidence.
Now we had to go to the store and buy clothes. Yeah.
No, Mikey did.
But that doesn't.
You didn't go to the store. You told the story. Mikey went to the store to get you clothes. Okay. And Elizabeth went to Aloe to get Erika clothes, supposedly.
Stop the conspiracy theorists, huh? They say they know what happened.
Sounds like I know what happened better than you.
So later, after Erika meets with the doctors and meets with Charlie, and this is maybe 6.
Wait, what? Why did he do that? Meets with the doctors and meets with Charlie. Charlie's dead. You mean when she went to identify the body, to pay her respects, to say goodbye to her husband that was just assassinated? He says that so carelessly to meet with Charlie. That's freaking disgusting.
6 hours after, I see her in the hall. She's a mess, as you can imagine. Comes up. We hug. She says, he loved you, and he was doing what he wanted to do. Please don't let his legacy die. That's why we're here. So what I want to do is spend a little bit of time talking about the things Charlie was concerned with. And one of the issues whenever you talk about these things is, if there is a good God, why is there evil? Why did he allow this to happen? Where was God on September 10th here? In fact, when we were driving in here, you know how you come off the highway here, and then you have to take a left to come into this campus? When we were waiting at that left-hand turn, Charlie said, Frank, pray. I did. Prayed for safety too. Why didn't he say yes? Is it possible that the God we pray to doesn't exist? Let's look at it. Here's what I want to do tonight. I want to cover 3 questions. Why, who, and what. Why? Why would God allow this to happen? Is it possible that God doesn't exist? Does it disprove God that evil like this happens? Second question, who? If we're going to talk about God, who is God? Is he just a big man on a cloud?
Let's see.
A couple of years before this date, our mutual friend James Lindsay, who is an atheist / agnostic, although he's moving toward us,
Let me see when they get to
texted Charlie and he said, Charlie, I've been reading. It happened. Maybe I could put this another way. Let me ask you a question. What came first, the resurrection or the reports in 2 days? My mother was sitting on an ottoman in front of a black and white TV, weeping uncontrollably. It's my earliest memory. I was 2 years old and yes, I'm 64 years old. I know, I don't want to look a day over 63. In fact, when I was 50, my wife was very encouraging. She said, honey, you're going to live to be 100. I said, how do you know? She said, because you look half dead already.
I don't know why he's telling jokes at all. The topic of discussion is Charlie's assassination. I want to get to the point where he just start asking questions. We'll see.
Than any 10,000 people I know. And all saving us. May your Holy Spirit move on us all. In Christ's name, amen. What we're going to do now, friends, before we go to questions, is I want Matthew to come up and tell us a little bit more about Ratio Christi, Matthew, because Ratio Christi has put this on along with TPUSA. Here's Caleb right over here, the president of TPUSA. Raise your hand, Caleb.
Okay, so TPUSA is putting this on, you guys. That answers that question. I'm going to let him kill some time, and we're going to cover something else. Hold on. Let me share this, and then we're going to get back to it. And once they start questions, it'll be good to do it this way because there's going to be a lot of points of time in that Q&A that are just going to be dead and boring and slow. And we can skip all that and just watch the parts that matter. This is Sean Ryan. He had Joe Kent on the other day, or it was filmed, I don't know, like last week. It came out first on Patreon. It just aired today. I'm going right to the point where they talk about Charlie. Let's see. The joking at a time like this is just disgusting. Yeah, I know. And that's the kind of person Frank Turek is. And then we got dude, and we thought Erika was bad. Yeah. They all are shameless, right? It's just
our stance in regards to our relationship with Israel.
Notice that Frank didn't say either of those things was on Charlie's mind on the 8th. On that walk he went on, Charlie doesn't bring either of these things up, supposedly. Even though the bombing of Bordeaux had just happened in June, they knew that this was going to be the first campus event on the whole tour and that they were going to get questions about the Trump administration, about Philly, about Iran, about all of it. That's what Gen Z cares about. Okay, those are some of the major issues and others, but those are some of the main issues that was facing Gen Z. And when they did that sit down, Charlie Kirk and Andrew Kolvet, that was the focus, really, was Philly. Charlie would be against what's going on right now. Okay, does Andrew Kolvet and Erika Kirk and TPUSA know that? They're saying the opposite. They even got community noted on X because they're trying to pervert Charlie's words and make him say something beyond the grave that he wouldn't say, that he didn't say.
To thoroughly do our due diligence from
and that's what we covered the other night. Where's the chat? Oh, that was weird. Can you guys hear everything? Can you guys hear me? Can everyone hear X's? Can you guys give me thumbs up if you guys are caught up and you guys can hear everything? I clicked and then I clicked back and it's like a lot of the stuff wasn't here. Yeah, you're good. Okay, cool. He's Joe Kent's very balanced. He's not, saying anything crazy, and that's why the attacks on him are just ridiculous. Okay. He's not saying any, and this is what I said. the NCTC's jurisdiction would have been, and all he was trying to do was really find out if there was any foreign nexus, any foreign ties, any foreign involvement at all, not even just with Philly, just at all, in the planning, preparation, execution of the assassination. And that was what was shut down. He has nothing to do with whether or not Tyler did it. Okay. And he's not made any kind of claim as what he believes about that. He said that that case is going to play out in court, how it's going to play out. All right. His whole issue with the whole thing was everything Charlie was going through in his personal life leading up to the assassination, how Charlie was changing on his stance on Philly, all the pressure, the donors being pulled out, the text messages that were shared with him, and then the public assassination, and then how TPUSA has changed everything after the fact. And then we went to war, and now we're at war. And Philly, and he's saying Philly drew us into it. They did this. That is connected. He's logical in connecting those things. And we're not stupid and crazy for us connecting those things and thinking that there's a connection. Okay. The people trying to tell us we're crazy for thinking this are crazy.
From an investigatory standpoint.
Why is TPUSA freaking out about this, you guys? Why is Mark Levin, freaking, Ben Shapiro, Gary Melton, Graham Allen, Dave Rubin, Laura Loomer? Why are all these people that are just, Philly firsters, never Trumpers, coming out saying that Joe Kent's an evil saboteur? He's a saboteur. He's a leaker. He's a leaker. They are attacking him because there is something here. If this was nuts, if this was pie in the sky, crazy galaxy brain run amok, like Andrew Kolvet would say, there's nothing here. Then why are you giving it air? Why are you spending all this time, money, and energy, airtime, trying to have people on to discredit him? Because it's credible. And so is Joe Kent. There's merit to this claim. Okay, that's why. And the conclusions that we could find at the end of this road, in my opinion, would be pointing to the real individuals that planned, executed, carried out, and have been covering up what really happened to Charlie at UVU. They know that. That's why they're freaking out back there. But the point is this, I think, too, you guys. We know that Lindsey Graham went and met with Bibi Netanyahu in the weeks before the declaration of war, in the weeks before Israel popped off and got us into this whole issue. And he was telling Bibi how to lobby the president, how to actually move the president's hand to do this. And we know that what happened in after 9/11 and Philly and Bibi being involved in, the weapons of mass destruction whole, intel, that was all a lie. The Bibi was lobbying Congress since 1996 that Iran was weeks away from a nuclear bomb, all a lie. I believe that Philly also is going to Trump and telling him, this is who actually planned, paid for, and carried out your assassination. And look, we took him out for you. You don't need to look into it. We took care of it because we're buds. We're pals. Yeah. We just did that for you because we're like that. You're the first Jewish president. That's what we do for our own. So we took him. Yeah, we took him out. Why else would Trump not be wanting to investigate it? Why would he not be empowering the FBI or whoever it would be to be looking into this, Secret Service, whoever, to actually be investigating this? Oh, because Bibi already said it was taken care of, in my opinion. We need to figure out Philadelphiaists, Rob McCoy. He posts almost every day, then MIA since December. His hiding works. He's off people's radar. He's also with Sean Foyt and Fraud. who's moved into the White House. Interesting. I need to reach back out to a subscriber. She used to go to his church. She was a member. She actually has friends that still go to God Speak Church. And they were going to have a sit down, a Q&A with him. I need to reach back out to her and see what came of that and if any, questions were answered. We can move back to the Frank Turek thing, okay? All right, let me skip this. Let's get to where the Q&A starts.
Friends of mine who are here came all the way from Chicago. How many in here have heard of the apostate prophet? Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Stand up, Ridvan. Ridvan Adamir, ladies and gentlemen.
I've never heard of that guy.
Also, a friend of Charlie. Ridvan grew up Muslim, born in Germany, and lived a long time in Turkey, and realized that Islam wasn't true, became an atheist. From the sale of the books are going to feed needy children. 90582. If you're
One of the things that I've been hearing about online is
question, we're going to move right on to the second question.
No freaking way. Wait.
You got to come up to the mic. I'm sorry. It's got to be the mic so people out in internet land can hear you. And once the first question starts, we'll have a line and we'll just go from there. All right.
You guys won't believe it. Do you guys know who that was? That's freaking Jeb Jacoby. You guys, that's the kid. That first questioner is the kid that was standing with Phil Lyman. Barron showed it. We played it. They rehearsed his little skit that he does. Phil Lyman's like mouthing the words about like, oh, he was shot, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, okay, good. And then they're like, okay, now we're going to film it. That was Jeb Jacoby. And then that kid was on with 60 Minutes with Hunter Kozak. This kid was vitally important in the beginning to getting the narrative out there that Charlie was shot with a rifle. We heard a rifle. We heard the shot. We saw the bullet enter his neck. All this craziness. That's this kid.
Hi, Jeb.
See? You guys heard that. Hi, Jeb. Because they're right next to the mic. Hi, Jeb. That's what the kid just said. Oh, that's Hunter Kozak. That was Hunter Kozak in that flannel right there, walking across the screen, you guys. You saw that, right? Right here? That's Hunter Kozak right here. That's him. Right there. So he's going to ask a question.
All right.
Too. Let's get to it.
I don't know. Is this on?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's your name?
My name is Jeb Jacoby.
Yep.
Jeb, go ahead, sir.
Okay, Jeb Jacoby.
Jeb, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so one of the things that I've been hearing about online is that Charlie Kirk was considering converting to Catholicism. I'm actually a Catholic myself.
Okay.
So I was wondering how true is this rumor and how close was he to going down this path?
Let me think about it. False.
Look at that smirk. He's wearing a Boston. Boston's a lot of Catholics in Boston. He's got a cross on.
Charlie Kirk loved Catholics like I do. I came out of the Catholic Church, but Charlie was an evangelical Christian like I am. And I don't know if you saw his little debate he had with Michael Knowles, maybe 6-8 months before he was murdered. Michael Knowles is a Catholic, and they went back and forth on those issues. Okay, but look, I'm a Protestant. I came out of the Catholic Church, and sometimes people, most of the time I do speak to Protestants, they'll say, do you think Catholics can be saved? And I say, I even think some Baptists can be saved. Okay? Because it's not where you go to church, it's whether or not you've accepted the free gift of eternal salvation that we talked about earlier. Have you done that?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Thank you.
You're a brother then.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Frank just lied. Okay, we know that Charlie was in the process of converting.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jaden.
Jaden, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to push against the idea that humans have free will. I think if there is
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are you freely saying that?
I don't think so, no.
Well, then we have nothing to debate because I'm
impossible for us to choose differently than we do with omniscience.
text you the final score and you go,
Christ through asking questions, through apologetics.
yes.
And so I guess my main question is, we have the free will to look into anything, but God encourages us to ask questions.
Yes.
I came to Christ through asking questions, and one of Jesus's biggest things that he led people to God through was asking questions.
Yes.
So how are we supposed to ask questions and seek justice, but keep Christ as the center?
In what sense do you mean? Ask
Like-
questions. Are you talking about
like in-
conspiracy theories?
No.
No. What do you mean?
More like in any religion. Like if I'm researching the LDS religion from a Christian standpoint, how am I supposed to do that without being rude, but coming from a Christian standpoint and keeping Jesus as the center?
Well, you can always be kind, but Paul says test all things. Yes, ma'am.
So my name is Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
And I 100% agree that, yes, the person who shot Charlie Kirk is a fascist.
Okay, lady. Thanks for telling us your pointless point of view. Awesome.
And I have to say thank you for your presentation. I actually was there the day that Charlie Kirk was shot. And I honestly, I have a statement and then a question. But my statement is I believe that probably one of the reasons why God allowed Charlie Kirk to be shot is to expose evil in ideologies, to expose that there is evil in worshiping this idea of being trans, to expose evil, in being on video games and being on Discord all the time. And anyways, my main question is,
hold on, I'm gonna let her get to the question, but as someone who's an apologist, he would know that statement is completely false. Okay, free will is absolute. Okay, if God gives us free will, okay, that means he doesn't infringe on that free will. Okay, or else that's not free will then. Okay, predestination, well then free will doesn't exist if you believe in predestination. All right. And so saying that God allowed it to happen. Okay. Well, once God set this whole thing in motion, all right, like God is absolute and he has power for sure, but free will itself, the choices we make are ours to make and our actions to make. And we either do them because we are led by the Spirit or we're led by the flesh. Okay. And God can turn things that the devil made for evil and then transform them into good. Okay. But it's not whether or not God allowed it or didn't allow it to happen. All right. These are these affairs of humans that, like, honestly, the free will thing that God bestowed upon us is a pretty big, that's the reason why evil is here. Free will, the option to choose between evil and choose between good. Okay. And this lady obviously has been fed a bunch of lies, getting up and the first thing she spouts is that I 100% believe that it was totally a fascist that killed Charlie. Okay, great. Thanks for your opinion. And then that whole statement and why her reason and why it happened. Okay. All right. Let's hear her question.
is how do you know you have forgiven somebody? Because I'm finding it very hard to forgive this Tyler Robinson.
That's interesting. You guys, a stranger, a Christian, a self-professed Christian stranger to Charlie is having issues forgiving Tyler almost 7 months after the assassination. Erika Kirk forgave this kid in 11 days. Technically 10, because she wrote her speech the night before. Okay, and she admitted to Jesse Waters that she wrote that in the night before, but then she left it open for the Holy Spirit because she realized that when she said that out loud, that sounded really bad. And she's like, yes, I did write it. I write all my speeches. Thank you very much. I don't have a writer. BS. All their speeches were written. Erika Kirk, whatever. Side note. But that then she got up there and she either was going to say it if the Spirit led her or did not lead her. And we just have to buy the BS that the Spirit led her to forgive someone that there was no evidence yet. He hadn't been convicted yet. He's an innocent kid. Okay. She knew what we knew at that time, and none of it pointed definitively, and it still doesn't, that Tyler did it. So for a Christian, that's freaking reckless. As the surviving spouse of Charlie, that's freaking disgusting to get up there and definitively say, I forgive him for something that we don't even know what he did. We don't know who did what yet. And she's convicting him in her mind and in her heart. Because if you're forgiving someone of something, then you've already concluded that they did it. Or else, why are you forgiving them of it? That was a total stage. Bleh. But it just shows you normal Christians that actually believe Tyler did it, that didn't know Charlie wasn't his wife, okay, are having trouble forgiving Tyler 7 months after the event. And Erika did it on day 10 in the writing of the speech, and on day 11 in the oration of the speech.
Because I just think he was evil. He is evil.
Let me give you my perspective. Tyler Robinson is made in the image of God. Therefore, I hope he repents, accepts Jesus, and then is executed.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what he deserves if he's guilty. In fact,
you've already said he's guilty many, many times. Now it's if. Now it's if. Now it's if, ladies and gentlemen. In the past, it was he is, and he deserves it. Now it's if. Okay.
Jesus affirmed the death penalty when Pilate said to him, don't you know I have the authority to kill you? Jesus didn't say, no, you don't. Jesus said, you do, but you get that authority from above. The government is given the sword in order to execute punishment on the wrongdoer. This is Romans 13:4. But I understand the animosity that one might have to someone like Tyler Robinson. But bitterness only hurts you. It only hurts me. Bitterness is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. What Erika Kirk did at the memorial to stand up and say, I forgive him,
is an act. It's stagecraft. It was fake. It's not real. It's not. You just can't do something like that in 10 days. Okay. But that's just to build and feed this narrative that she's just like Christ's mother. She was married to someone that they all wanted us to look at Charlie like a Christ figure, an anointed kind of savior person. Okay. Charlie was a great person. He wasn't Christ. All right. And Erika is neither a great person, and nor is she like Christ's mother, Mary, the Holy Mother Mary. And no one that actually loved Charlie could get up there in 10 and 11 days and forgive someone, especially if you don't even know that's who killed him.
What she's saying is, if Jesus can forgive me, I can forgive Tyler.
That's not even true.
Yeah. I like
because I'm a sinner too.
Yeah. Okay. And with words, like you can like know that up here. Okay. Read it. And you could know that that's the right thing to do here. How many times do we know that? But then knowing it here and being able to do it with your words and your actions are two totally different things. It's easy for Frank to say that, but for an actual person to forgive someone like that of 10 days, 11 days after is freaking impossible. And the fact that she did it is just proof, okay, that A, it wasn't Tyler, and B, she didn't love Charlie.
And holding on to that bitterness isn't going to help. Now, she agrees, obviously, he needs to be punished.
No.
But there's no...
No. He's innocent right now. Whoever ends up being proven to be the assassin, that's who deserves to be punished. Notice that he said, okay, oh, like if he if he's guilty, but then he just made that statement, then he deserves to be punished. Well, no, he's still innocent. We don't know who killed him, right? We do. We know it wasn't Tyler. But notice that he can't shake how he really feels, what he really believes. It's just going to come out.
Sense holding on to this. Now, can I also point out one other thing about this, ladies and gentlemen? Not always, but quite frequently, when something evil happens on the left, there's a riot. When something evil happens with regard to Islam, there are beheadings. When something evil happens with regard to Christianity, there's forgiveness.
So he has to point out that the true demons, the true devil, the true evil, our true enemy is the left and Islam. That's what he did right there. That's what he did.
Erika Kirk demonstrated the love of Jesus, and yet people are running her down. Do you know why this is going on? Did I mention this before?
No.
Maybe I forgot to mention this.
Mm.
That Jesus and the apostles call Satan a murderer, a liar, an accuser, and a slanderer who seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. We had a murder, and then what have we had since then?
Accusations, slander. He's done this at every event, and he's talking about Candace and all of that.
Lies, accusations, slander that are trying to destroy.
Yeah.
Destroy a widow. Destroy the future of her children.
No. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. We're asking questions. We're pointing out lies. We're pointing out mistakes. We're pointing out inaccuracies, inconsistencies. And if that so happens to then point at her, then that's just the facts, man. You can't get mad at us and attack us that are asking questions to get at the truth. Us pointing out where they've lied, where you've lied, where TPUSA has lied and Erika Kirk has lied, gets to possible involvement in this whole thing. That's not us attacking her. Okay, get it right. What does this say? Maybe Jessica, maybe not. Love you, Matt. I got to check out. Can't watch this turd ball any longer. Christ is king, the one true king. One day he will set it all straight. Woe to them. I agree. Thank you so much for the super. Maybe Jessica, maybe not. I agree. I'll take it for the team.
Destroy the organization that she now leads and was built by her husband. And you don't believe in the demonic? How could it be more obvious? So I would say follow in Erika's footsteps. Let the bitterness go. Pray for Tyler. Pray for look, if he's not guilty, I hope they find the guilty guy.
Yeah, if he's not guilty, then everything you and everyone's been doing, saying he's guilty over and over, the mountain of evidence, 90% could be thrown out and he still would be convicted guilty. He's guilty. He did it. Jack Posobiec, everyone, like his parents turned him in. He has on the rifle. Oh, then you're all evil for saying this for the last 6 months, which you are because he didn't do it.
Right? But I'm 99.5% sure he is guilty.
There it is.
But he's innocent till proven guilty. There will be a trial. Let's wait for that.
Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. Oh, my gosh. How long was that happening? Oh, my gosh. Let's see. How far back was it? Calm down. Can't see, but I'm okay with that. Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry. Hey, you guys can thank one of our mods for getting a hold of me because I can't believe I did it. All right. Sorry, guys. Won't happen again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I did want to end with I do appreciate what Erika Kirk did.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if any of the rest of you were at that Charlie Kirk event, I would love to talk to you.
Okay. Thank you. God bless you. Yes, sir.
That's weird. You guys, I think she's a plant of some kind. So she gets up there, she says everything that she said. All right. She did all of that. And then there's a call to action at the end for other people that were there that day. Okay. Other witnesses like her, like that one weird, really weird guy that Brandy and Billy interviewed. If you guys go back, it's in one of my very first episodes I covered. So freaking bizarre. But these people end up trying to get in touch with other witnesses to try to persuade them to believe what they believe about the official narrative. It's ridiculous. I think she's some sort of plant.
Hey, Dr. Frank. My name's Riley. I just want to say I appreciate all the evangelical and apologetic work you've done. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
My question is a little strange, but if Islam were true, would you become a Muslim?
Sure, if it was true. Do you think?
All right. And like, can it just be people that want to ask about Charlie? And that day, oh man, is he gone now? Is he going to be gone? And now let's see.
Now, he was hoping you could answer if you feel comfortable. He wanted me to ask if you think all LDS are believing a false doctrine, and if you believe they will go to heaven if they continue to believe their theology.
Yes. 100%. They don't even believe in heaven. You guys, I don't want to offend anybody. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just going to speak my belief from what I know personally. Oh, no, I'll save that for another time. I'll let Frank answer it. You can message me privately. Maybe some other time I'll do that.
It depends on what their doctrine is, because I've been talking to my friend Aaron Marshall over here. Aaron, why don't you come on up here for a minute?
Okay. No, dude. Okay. What the Book of Mormon says is that our God, Yahweh, was just a human on another earth who was baptized in the temple on that earth, the Mormon temple on that earth, that him and Mother God, his wife, were sealed in the temple on that earth, that they made it to the third heaven, all right, which is the ability to now be a God on another earth where you and your mother goddess wife procreate and make your babies, which are the humans on that earth. And then so you can become a God in another solar system. No, we don't believe the same thing. That's part of their marketing, that they believe that Christ is the savior. They also believe Satan is his brother. No. Stop. Don't get it twisted, dude.
You know,
that's how weak he is in his faith, that because he's at UVU and he knows how many LDS there, he wants to appease them. No. You can't. So after the gospel is finished, nothing shall be added or taken away. Okay. It was finished. Okay. So the whole golden tablets and Joseph Smith and Angel Moroni and, reestablishing the priesthood and all of that, all the Masonic rituals, the garment, underwear, like all of it. It's a perversion of the truth.
How I said earlier that I even think some Baptists can be saved. It's not where you go to church that makes you a Christian.
Okay, yeah. So if they denounce like all of the false teachings in the Book of Mormon, and then they are baptized in just the New Testament in Christ, and and they actually believe in the teachings of the New Testament and of Christ, then yes, they can be saved, but not as a full practicing member of the LDS Church. It's just not the same thing, man.
Some people in the Latter-day Saint Church may have the right belief about Jesus.
What?
But according to the official doctrine of the Mormon Church, excuse me? Okay. Yeah. So I haven't catched up with the branding yet. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is so ridiculous, you guys. Okay, so a while back, first of all, like if you had color skin, you couldn't be saved either. That was changed in like the 1960s and 70s. You couldn't even be part of the LDS Church if you had dark skin. They taught for generations that was a cursing that happened, and that was like their mark of sin and evil. But anyways, that it used to be called the Mormon Church, but then they had to rebrand it because of everything with Brigham Young and polygamy and FLDS. that no, the Church of Christ, and like that labeling Church of Christ and Latter-day Saints. And so they want to correct us every time they can, but you can't erase the history. I'm just sorry. You can't do that. It says the Book of Mormon. Do you read your book? The Book of Mormon. It doesn't say the Book of LDS, the Book of Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints. It's the Book of Mormon. What about the Doctrine of Covenants? Okay. I think it's like the Pearl of Great Price. I don't know what the other one is. I'll look it up.
I'm sorry. I don't mean no offense. Okay. Okay, Aaron, go ahead.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we have lots of interaction with fundamentalist groups all around here. So when we talk about the rubric of Mormonism, obviously the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the biggest branch of that. But we would say that if I've trusted in Jesus, right, if I trusted in Jesus for my identity, then I will be with him forever. I will have eternal life.
That's right.
You see this in John's gospel. Believe in Jesus and you will have eternal life. And we would,
you guys, I was right. So all the books used that they teach from is, well, the Bible. Then you have the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. The LDS Church regards approved versions of these works in any language. I remembered.
say lovingly, right? We want to have conversations that the LDS Church would say, yes, general salvation for everybody by trusting by what Jesus accomplished on the cross. But in order to get eternal life or exaltation, the highest level of celestial kingdom, that's when you have to produce.
Yeah. So the 3 levels, it's like the telestial, I forget, there's 3. I'll look it up. But celestial is the 3rd, the highest heaven that you only get to if you're perfect, and then you're sealed in the temple, you're married in the temple, and your children are sealed in the temple, and you do all these works that you do that are only taught in the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price. None of those works are taught by Christ. It's all extra.
That's when you have to earn. And what we would say in the most loving way possible is that what Frank said is that Jesus loves us simply because he loves us, not because we've earned it. And so I have confidence that Charlie is with Jesus today because he trusted in Jesus alone.
Yeah, so I was somewhat right. So it's celestial kingdom, the sun, the terrestrial kingdom, the moon, and then the telestial kingdom, the stars, which is, so the lowest kingdom is the telestial, then the middle kingdom is terrestrial. Yeah, and then the third, the highest heaven, where God the Father and Jesus Christ and the God the Mother goddess, is the celestial kingdom, the third heaven.
Not because he was doing all these things.
The other question.
To force anybody into heaven against their will.
He had infinite board games for humanity to play.
Can I ask you what you mean by rules?
Do
you mean moral rules, or do you mean physical rule? What do you mean by rules?
All of it. Like if you imagine.
Well, no, if God is God, he doesn't have an infinite number of moral attributes. His moral attributes are what they are. And so he is not arbitrary. He doesn't decide, oh, today I like love, tomorrow I might like murder. He is the standard of love and
is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Goodness and righteousness. So he doesn't have an infinite number of ways he could set up morality.
Nope, he's
he
consistent.
Is the moral standard.
Yep. Certainly.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No. The with that, he could have.
It's like what you just said. Yeah, whatever you just said, that, and then
arranged reality in different ways.
All right, hold on.
Difficulty that was resolved.
I'm sorry. I just want to hear the questions that have to do with Charlie and TPUSA and everything, you guys. Okay.
Okay. Why have there been so many attacks on TPUSA? Even before Charlie was murdered. Yes, sir. What's your name?
I'm Ethan.
Ethan, go ahead.
So I've been watching your content since like 4th grade.
Thank you. You're making me feel really old, Ethan.
Because you are.
So I'm trying to figure out like the exact words to say this. So Charlie Kirk did an event up here in, I believe, 2022. And me and my mom went there, and I got to ask him a question on how can we be courageous in whatever career field we're in. Because like for me, I'm not going into like apologetics or anything like that as like a career, but I want to glorify God in what I'm doing, and also stand up for the gospel. How do we do that responsibly without being arrogant and without being like mean? And then also, what's like the line that we draw between like staying silent and then also standing up for God's
What's the
truth?
last part of it? The way you draw a line between what?
Between like staying silent in some situations or
Oh.
like standing up for God's truth.
Well, Jesus said you have to be as wise as serpent and innocent as doves. You can't fight every battle. But if you're never speaking up, let me put it this way. If some
Glenn, yes, I can play it. Just I'll write down the timestamp, I'll play it, and then we'll come back to it. Okay. Let me hear this question, hear the answer. I'll pause it, write the timestamp, and then I'll play the trailer. Then we'll pop back to this point. Okay.
somebody doesn't hate you, you're doing something wrong.
All right, right there. Let me find the timestamp. Oh, it's going to be different because it's live. We're going to miss it. So it's right when this kid pops up. All right. So let me go back and then we'll come back to it. Okay. Oh, it doesn't show it right now.
Need courage if you weren't afraid, right? You know, Jesus said, if they persecuted me, they're going to persecute you.
Where's the part where he...
Paul said, anyone who lives a faithful life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. So if nobody's persecuting you, it might be that nobody really knows you're a Christian. You're not living it out. So you have to pick your spots. You can't be so obnoxious that you're not making any headway.
So he's saying the reason why Erika Kirk and him and TPUSA is being persecuted is just because they're Christian. That's it.
You've got to be able to pick your spots. So it really depends on the situation. But it's a great question because too many people today are silent, when if everyone realized, like Charlie did, that when you're a Christian 24/7, 365, 360, every area of your life ought to be affected by Jesus. If you're a Christian, what area of your life should not be affected by Jesus? Every area. When you go to church, you should be a Christian. When you go home, you ought to be a Christian. At work, you ought to be a Christian. Online, you ought to be a Christian. In the voting booth, you ought to be a Christian. You ought to be a Christian everywhere. And that's one of the things I loved about Charlie. In fact, I said to Charlie, I've been looking for you for 30 years. A Christian, an evangelical Christian who realized that you could make a difference in politics and the culture for Christ. Everybody else was too scared to speak up. He wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think Charlie made a difference in politics. Like I don't think any of the politicians like Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, these major individual like individuals in the Republican Party are actually Christian. None of their life, no fruit that they produce can I look at and go, yep, that's a Christian. And we need that. The Bible and Christ said, so did Paul, we should be able to tell someone's a Christian by the way they lived, by what they say, how they act, what they do. It should be evident what kind of tree that is. I should look at the fruit and go, I know exactly what that is. And in the opposite is true with all these individuals. I think Charlie found out that all these people are evil. He wanted to make a difference. He tried to make a difference, and they took him out.
He was bold. You know what he said about courage? He said, what I love about courage is it doesn't take any skill. It just takes a decision.
I agree with that.
All you've got to do is decide. And by the way, courage is not the absence of fear. You wouldn't need courage if you weren't afraid, right? Courage is, I'm going to do what's right. And Charlie said this as well. I'm going to do what's right even when I don't know the outcome. That's courage. Yep. So do what's right even when you don't know the outcome. Thanks, Ethan.
Thanks, Frank.
God bless you. Yes, sir. What's your name?
I'm Jake.
Jake, go ahead.
So my question today, it's revolving around the topic of lust, the sin of lust.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, it's something that affects so many people around the world, a lot of Christians, both male and female. And as a college student, I attend Utah State University Eastern down in Price. And just as a 20-year-old male, and you're 64. I believe you said you're turning 65. I just want to know.
Not yet, man. I'm not that old.
Sorry. Didn't mean to remind you. My
Right.
bad. But I just wanted to ask you.
No.
Hi. Woo! Honey, help me. It's time for men to grow up and. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Hey, I'm Ray. Frank,
Hey,
God
Ray.
bless you, brother. Thank you for coming out.
God bless you, man.
You're
Thank
back.
you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
On the topic of lust, real quick, before my
Yeah.
question, if I
He's holding a microphone. He's recording this. That's interesting.
may, the Lord tells me if something is a stumbling block to me, to remove it, whether it's my eye or my arm, and I could spend my life cutting away my phone and social media and Google and whatever the heck.
All right. Yeah.
And he will turn the hearts of kids to their parents, maybe college-aged kids. So my friend said, "Who am I talking about?" I said, "Obviously, John the Baptist from the scriptures." And he said, "Yes, before the great and awesome day of the Lord. Yet, I'm also talking about Charlie Kirk." And so my question to you is, has anybody ever shared this with you, this connection, John the Baptist, Charlie Kirk? And what are your thoughts?
No, because I don't think we can take the scriptures that are clearly talking about an individual 2,000 years ago and say he also meant to talk about Charlie Kirk. That's not the way I think the scriptures ought to be interpreted. There may be parallels, of course. There are parallels, hopefully, in our lives. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, Frank. Thanks for coming out.
You guys, this is the danger of what's happening within the Christian churches right now, where they are, immortalizing Charlie, comparing him to Christ, comparing him to John the Baptist. He wasn't. He was just Charlie Kirk. He was an amazing Christian man that did a lot of good things. Was so unique because so very few Christian men were willing to step up on such a public stage, were that articulate, were that courageous, and to do what he did. So he just stood out, and he was in the political sphere, which is like this black sheep among all of these evil goats that are around him. You could just see he was different than all of them. But he wasn't, he wasn't Christ. He wasn't John the Baptist. But that question shows that like people are trying to make him into something bigger than just a man, just a godly Christian man.
My name is Rich.
Rich, go ahead, sir.
So earlier somebody said we shouldn't say the name Yahweh, so I might be in trouble. I got it tattooed on me.
Oh, okay, good. Just hold your arm out then. Yeah,
but,
there you go.
Well, earlier today, I was having a conversation with somebody very short, and they had to leave, so I didn't have a chance to respond, but I just wanted to drop their comment to you and see how you would respond.
Asking for a friend.
Yep. So something they said was the existence of morality doesn't prove God, and that man just evolved into a society that has law and order, that has good and morality that we see today.
Why is that wrong if there is no God? And by the way, in the book Stealing from God, we have like 8 reasons why the evolutionary argument, so it doesn't work.
Thanks, Frank.
All right,
God
thank
bless.
you. Thanks, Rich. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Hannah.
Hey, Hannah, go ahead.
I'm in not one but 2 apologetic classes, and I
Wow.
wanted to ask something that they've never really touched on. Was, in your opinion, what is the biggest plot hole in Mormon ideology?
Plot hole.
And how do
I think she means pothole, like, yeah, I think she means pothole.
you and how do you come to it respectfully, but very, like, hey.
Okay, as Matthew was saying earlier, are we going to follow the truth or not? Here's a question. It's true.
I just want
And the same is true. If Mormonism is true, anywhere it disagrees with, or anywhere the Bible disagrees. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Hi, Frank. Michaeline. Michaeline.
Michaeline, go
Yeah.
ahead. Yes.
So I'm a bit nervous here. The best witnesses of Christ raising from the dead were the people that were there.
Yes.
I was there. A lot of us were there. I think we're the greatest witnesses
Of Charlie's murder, you mean?
You guys, I think when they like pre-screened people, so one of the things I think they offered this event for people that were there. I do. I think that locally it was advertised that if you were there that day, you could get in. It's a very limited, small space. I think they wanted to get people back that were there that day. In the beginning, one of the first things Frank did was have people identify if they were there that day. That was one of the first things he did. And now we have like 4 people that have come up and self-identified they were there that day. I don't think that's an accident.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
At Charlie's assassination.
Yes.
I only have one, like the Gospels. I'm just one person.
Uh-huh.
But when it started, it was very difficult to hear because
I could hardly hear him. I was 25 feet from him. Of course, the speaker wasn't near me.
Well,
It was pointing out, but I agree. Yeah.
for us, I was kind of right in the middle, only
Mhm.
to the side of
Mhm.
Charlie. But there was a group to your left, to my right, over there
Yeah.
that from my standpoint looks like a community of very strong dislikers of Charlie.
Yeah, there were some protesters. Yes.
And I would say there was 40, minimum 40, and they
Okay.
held huge signs.
Uh-huh.
Huge signs, and they were, to me, they seemed to be LGBTQ
Okay.
community.
Okay.
So after it was over,
Uh-huh.
and very disturbing, you know, and we're all shaken and trying to follow the news media and having the cameras just fanning and you know, like panoramic. The community that was over there was grass, like they were gone. I followed a lot, and it's hard to think that anything is really true of what goes on because of the media when it fans the whole area and watches people leaving, scrambling and frantic, and that area is grass.
Okay, so what she's saying is that she believes that this group of supposedly crazy trans Tifa LGBTQ leftists were there that day. About 40 of them were over to, if Charlie's looking out at the crowd, he's sitting down over here to the left. There was about 40 of them in her memory, and that when she watched news coverage or video that was released later of that event, they were either edited out or, I mean, that's her claim, I think.
Were they in a position to escape immediately?
No, it was before, and yeah, even after.
Okay,
when
so
it
what's
should-
I'm sorry, I've got a big long line. What's the main point you're getting at?
I just wondered, did you see those people? I mean, I think it's a part of.
I think
the night.
as I understand it, that protesters were moved just before Charlie got there. I think that's what I was told. Maybe that's not right.
No, it's not right because
Okay.
I couldn't hear because we're like, oh, that group needs to chill.
Okay,
down.
so where are you going with this?
I'm just wondering if other people saw it, or was
Oh.
it only me?
Saying they didn't do anything. There was no
Really?
shot that came from them. There was no shot. Everybody I talked to yesterday,
Uh-huh.
in fact, Hunter was at the microphone when it happened, came from behind you, right? Yeah.
You're going to believe Hunter Kozak. What the frick is going on? And he just said, so they arrived to this event tonight early, and people that were at the event gathered. He just said it, okay? He just said he spoke to other people that were at the event the night before today, last night, and they talked about this event. That goes right into what I was saying, is that they invited people back locally. They advertised for people that were there that day, locals that were there that are still in the area, to come back to this event. They came there last night, and Frank spoke with them, and then some of them are there today. Why? This event, I think, has more to do with maybe if you think about everything Danks has done with the geocaching and tracking. This is a TPUSA event. They got everyone back in this auditorium and their phones super feed. They're going to geotag and geotrack these people. They're going to be able to see what their correspondence is. They're going to be able to see what they're talking about, what they're saying, what they've said, previous texts, emails, whatever. It's not an accident that these people were all gathered there last night and then again today, and that he's asking Hunter Kozak, what the heck, Frank? Like, if nobody believed you had something to do with it before, you talking to Hunter and Hunter being there today definitely just made me go, yep.
Well, I thought the shot came.
No, I don't think so.
I'm that's
Okay. Thank you.
Cut her off. Security, get her out of here. She's not spouting the official FedSlop narrative. We need to silence her. She's allowed to have her own perspective from her own memory from that day, and you're just shutting her down, Frank.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And by the way, since it's kind of an amphitheater and there's echoes, that might have confused people too. But yes, sir, go ahead. Cole, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
I first thought it was interesting that you said that for 30 years you were looking for Charlie, because I actually heard online that he was a time traveler, and it's maybe he. But that actually.
So he's making fun of Candace Owens right now because that was something that they talked about or whatever.
That actually gets into my question.
But I heard about that in a dream.
Right. So my question.
Okay, so they all making fun of Candace. Great. You guys are great.
Is for many of us that probably have small social media platforms, or even we can only influence our family and friends. And a lot of us are getting impacted by what I would say are the insane theories, conspiracy theories from people like Scamdus Owens and Shake Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
What would you say?
What a freaking not a good person, Scandus Owens and Shake Tucker Carlson. Who are you, bro?
Would be our best way to maybe stand up or combat those theories, maybe along the lines of waiting for the trial, or just something to do, maybe to talk with our families or something like that?
Well, I would say, let me put it this way. People will say, have you watched everything that Candace Owens has done? My answer is no, but I don't need to watch every WWE match to know it's fake.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not a good comparison, dude.
When you're resorting to time travel and dreams and just speculation, you're throwing stuff up against the wall, that is not an investigation.
I bet you he's gonna say something about evidence. I bet you.
That's slanderous. And so I think if you could just talk to people. Now, some people can't be talked to. Some people are just brainwashed in this kind of thing, and they think, oh, whatever their person says is gospel.
Nope.
That's not the way we're supposed to do even as Christians. Test all things. By the way, it's a genetic fallacy to say just because somebody says something, it's wrong. Candace Owens probably says a lot of true things, but her overall sort of insinuation that somehow Erika and TPUSA is involved is what we would call a male cow's excrement.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
So BS. He couldn't have just said the letters. It's BS. Okay.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Nathan. I'm a Latter-day Saint, and I know you kind of said that you want to, if someone has kind of any, I guess, claim for
Sure,
the
go
Church
ahead.
of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you'd want to hear it.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask, kind of going back, you said, right, to the witnesses of the resurrection.
Yeah.
Right, that they're credible, right? They didn't get things like sex or money or power from them, right? There was really kind of no benefit from them if they were to make it up. What would be your response to the witnesses that we have for the Book of Mormon? Because it's kind of a similar situation, right? They didn't gain any power. They didn't gain money from their witnesses of the Book of Mormon.
What did they witness?
They witnessed that you have
The golden tablets. Hold on.
19 witnesses that Joseph Smith had the gold plates.
No. So I think 15 of them ended up recanting over time. There was things promised to most of them. And then as Joseph Smith didn't deliver, most of them recanted and didn't ever become part of the actual formation of the church.
Okay, let me stop. What are gold plates miraculous?
In the way that Joseph Smith received them, yes.
But how do
themselves?
How do they
no.
know that he received them in a miraculous way?
We have 4 witnesses, including Joseph Smith, that say that they did see an angel give them the plates. We also have witnesses concerning translation methods.
All right. Let's suppose that's true. Are all angels? I'm just asking.
Yeah, dude. My memory is really good, you guys. Okay, so the witnesses to the golden tablets, including the 3 and 8 witnesses, largely left the early Mormon church following internal disputes. Yet most, what does it say? We have the 3 witnesses, Cowdery, excommunicated. Several died early. Stated later years that they saw nothing. Yeah. Okay. 11 interpretations include Mary Whitmer and others who allegedly saw or felt the plates. Okay, so 11 said they saw the plates. I don't know.
The question: are all angels from the good side?
No.
No.
Okay.
But it goes kind of to a similar thing, right? Like how, right? What would they have to gain from, right, a liar? Like what evidence would you?
Well,
have
let me ask you. Tell me what's true about Joseph Smith.
Okay.
Did he have more than one wife?
Yes.
Got sex. Money?
No, he didn't really.
Did he have his own
financially
bank?
benefit? He did.
Okay.
Yeah. And it
Power?
ended up failing. The bank.
Did he
that
have power?
made. Not necessarily over the church in general. Yes.
Okay.
But really in his life, it didn't amount to. Right, the kind of power the power he gained would be similar to the power that like Paul or Peter gained.
They got
in the
martyred.
New Testament church.
They got martyred. They did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, he ended up having like 30 something wives and he had tremendous amount of power. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
By the way, I'm sorry, but in about 7 minutes, we've got to pack up. I could stay here all day.
Oh, he's wearing a yarmulke. He's wearing a little hat.
But we've got to pack up. And we want to interview some of you outside this room once we.
They want to interview some of you. So people that were there that day, most likely. What do you bet?
We pack up. If anybody wants to be interviewed, we just want to get your sense of the event. And we want to get what you've been experiencing since Charlie, how your life has changed since Charlie, what you've heard, what's happened. If you don't mind, it'll be right outside that door. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, first of all, I want to say that it was a good presentation. I agreed with most of what you said. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sneer, S-N-I-R.
Hey, Sneer.
But there is one little big hang-up that I have
Okay, go
with
ahead.
your argument, which is Jesus. You know what? Great, he existed. You know what? Great, he did miracles. You know what? Great, he even rose from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Why should that matter for me? Doesn't Deuteronomy tell me that miracles don't prove anything? If Jesus comes and says, I will give you a sign, the sign of Jonah, who was in 3 days in the belly of the whale and then came out, and then he dies and he comes back up and it happens. Doesn't Deuteronomy tell us that if a false prophet comes and tells you a sign and then that sign happens, don't believe him?
I don't know what you're talking about in Deuteronomy, but
I'll pull it up. I have it right here. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verses 1 through 5. Everything that I command that you shall be careful about, everything I command you that you shall be careful to do it. You shall neither add to it nor subtract to it. The law, don't add or subtract. If there will arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of a dream, and he gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder of which he spoke to you happens, and he says, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us worship them. You shall not heed the words of that prophet or that.
Yeah, but Jesus didn't say go after other gods. He pointed the way to God, to Yahweh, to the one true God. He didn't add anything or take anything away from the law in Deuteronomy. He fulfilled it.
Dreamer of a dream, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you really love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall follow the Lord your God, fear him, keep his commandments, heed his voice, worship him, and cleave to him.
Okay, yeah, sure. If there are signs that point to other gods, don't follow them, because even Satan can do signs that could even deceive the elect.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, you're supposed to
The other
test
side can
the
also do signs.
Okay, but Jesus fulfilled the law. He
What does
didn't
that mean to
abolish
fulfill the law?
That he lived it perfectly.
If
and
a person,
you can't live it perfectly, and neither can I.
we have a tradition that Benjamin, the brother of Joseph, never sinned. Likewise, Jesse, the father of David, never sinned. We have that tradition.
Well, hold on. Do you know where Paul gets the language when he writes the book? Have you read the book of Romans?
Not in its entirety.
Okay. Please read the book of Romans. Okay. Do you know where
Please
he
read
gets
Deuteronomy.
do you know where he gets the phraseology that there is no one good, not even one?
It's in Psalms, I believe.
Yeah, he gets it from the Old Testament.
Right.
Okay, we're all fallen. There's been nobody. You've got tradition. I've got the scriptures.
So let us ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
When Moses got the law, did he also receive a tradition?
I don't know if Frank ever used to be that good at this. He's supposed to be a professional apologist. Come on, man. This should be a walk in the park for you. What are you doing?
Well, it depends on what you mean by tradition.
Moses
what do you mean by it?
Moses comes down the mountain and he tells the people of Israel, you shall make fringes on the corners of your garments. Here I will show you how to do the fringes. Later he goes and writes it down in the Torah. The people, they say, wait, how did he show us? Let's see what the Torah says.
That takes up so much.
It says you shall make fringes. Does it say how we make?
Oh, no.
Observe to you shall observe.
Oh my God, this kid came from Philly to filibuster the event, you guys. This kid came to make sure no one got up and asked any hard questions. He took up the remaining time in the event. Let's see if anyone gets to ask a question after him.
To do according to all they instruct you, according to the law that they instruct you to do, according to the judgment you say to you, you shall do.
Okay, you're filibustering, bro. Stop.
Divert from the
All right, yeah, obviously standard as expressed through the scriptures. Look, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Israeli-Hamas conflict until you does everything right? No.
Christian has to make their country and their surrounding community explicitly and legally Christian.
The question is, are you suggesting that Christianity has to be prescribed on people or just described?
Described as in...
All right. There was no other questions. Wow. So you guys, that was sold to us as something totally different. Let me see if I can, let me see if this link that I had before will take me to the preview. No, it's going to take me straight to this. I don't know where the preview is then anymore, you guys. I'll have to play it on the, I'll have to find it some other time. It was playing as a preview, but then once they went live, it's gone. And now it's just the live feed. Yeah. All right. We're at 2.5 hours. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or anything before we go? I'm down to stay and answer if you guys have anything. Everyone asked Frank a question needs to be looked into. I agree. Oh, I'll let that. Yep. Thank you, Jessica. And Glenn, I looked, like I said, if someone can find that preview, that trailer for this event, it's not there anymore. The link for it just pulls you straight to this, the actual live. So I don't know what happened to it. I got to all the other ones. Let's see. Yes. Okay. I'm going to be on tomorrow. Yes, 100%. I already have the thumbnail created. I just don't, well, it's just the placeholder. The title and everything aren't created yet. Saturday is the live with John Aaron Bray at 6 p.m. on Saturday. That thumbnail's there. And that's already created all the way. So hit the notification on there to notify you when it goes live, and it will. And then, okay, Matt, I found a preview link emailing. Okay, yeah, email it to me right now, and then I'll play it. Let me go back. Let me hit refresh. All right. Well, let me know. I won't sign off. I'll play that before we go. Just put it in the text. I just sent it. Let me know when you've sent it, and I can click over to my email and hit refresh. Everyone that's still here, hang out for a second. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe. It looks like we're nearly at like 300 something likes, which is great. Because we had like 350, 375 in attendance tonight, which is amazing. You guys are the best. And we have 290 likes. There's 301 people here right now. That means some of you can just hit the like. Well, just hit it once. If you double click it, it's going to unlike it in a second. Okay, I see it, Glenn. I see it. I'm going to it. Hold on. Hold up. Oh, all right. Let me go here. Let me go here. All right. Let me, hold on. Here. All right. Let me see if it's going to go big. Hold on. Where? There we go. That's as big as it gets. Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on. There we go.
In September, and on March 26th, we're going to be back here to answer questions as to why would God allow this to happen? What's God's solution to evil? Where do we go from here? It's going to be at 7 p.m. here in Orem, Utah. If you're anywhere near this area, please come out. It's open to everybody. If you can't be here, it's going to be streamed live on our YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on March 26th. I hope to see you there. Thanks for praying.
All right. Someone also sent me a different one. Let me go back. Casey. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Yes, there it is. Cool. Awesome. Let me make sure it's shared. There we go. All right, cool. Let me, hold on. There it is.
6 months since my friend Charlie Kirk was murdered just 25 feet from me at Utah Valley University. On March 26th, I'm going back to that campus for the first time as part of our college tour in honor of Charlie. I'm not sure how I'm going to react to being there, but the plan is to address a bunch of pressing questions. Like, is the murder of Charlie Kirk proof that God doesn't exist? And if God does exist, then why did he allow Charlie to die? And why have there been so many slanderous lies and accusations since his murder? What's God's solution to the evil that we see all around us? And what's God's solution to the evil that all of us have committed in our own lives? Charlie knew what that solution is, and it's not political, and it's not difficult. In fact, Charlie risked his life to show people that solution.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith.
We'll get into that solution and your questions at Utah Valley University that night, March 26th. So come on out. And if you can't be there, then please join us live on the Cross Examine YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern. Our goal is to make heaven crowded. I hope to see you there, and thanks for your prayers.
and we know that TPUSA did help put this on, and it's clearly marketed as also being a part of the Make Heaven Crowded event tour. So yep, you can bet your bottom dollar they geotagged, geotracked, geocached everyone there. Their phones are going to go home. They're going to Bluetooth handshake everyone else's at their job, at their house, at their school, and it's going to graft everyone else's phone that they're associated with into this global whatever, man, surveillance, freaking data collection thing that they're doing, propaganda, craziness that Philly's a part of. Yeah. He didn't answer most of the things he said that this whole event was set up to do. He didn't do any of it, man. The whole thing was to get people that were at the assassination back there, ask them questions the day before, then at the event, and then get them all together and then get them to answer some questions and who knows what else, get them to change their story. I know out of all the witnesses that were there, people that were there, like 2%, like a very small percent actually gave witness statements. A very, very small percent did. It's interesting that TPUSA helped them do this event and went back and they wanted people that were at the assassination to come back. It's interesting. It's interesting. All right. Anything else before we go? All right, guys and gals. Guys and gals. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Thank you for all your love and support. I really love and appreciate all of you. This is one of the best communities on the internet. In my opinion, it's the best. But I mean, like Candace, Barron, Zach, they got good communities too. But I think ours is better. Okay. Thank you guys. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Have a great night. I will see you guys back here tomorrow. I did not mean to yell that in the mic. I might go earlier than 6. I don't know. Because I think Barron's going earlier tomorrow. He did a member live today. And then if he's not going at his normal spot, and I don't think Candace goes, I might go earlier, maybe like 5 or 5:30, 5:45. So pay attention for the update. At the very least, we'll do it at 6. Okay. But God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. Take care.